At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Panelist.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Panelist.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a beautiful Sunday here. We have a full house. It's going to be, we call it Rumble in the Jungle, but this time it is being held in Grand Bassa County. The selection, the nomination of Charlyne Brumskine as the running mate of Alexander Cummings. Beautiful day yesterday. The town of Buchanan was upside down. The folks were in a festive mood, and we are here to dissect how successful was this event. What does Charlyne Brumskine bring to the ticket? How does this change the dynamics of Liberian politics? How do we look at the two beautiful women of the Grand Bassa County? If you spoke Bassa, you would know Nyobli Kanka called herself Bassa there, which means something that had been inherited, or when Brumskine was dying, he wrote her into the will. And then Charlyne Brumskine, the biological daughter of Brumskine, came and said, she is the Bassa you. In Bassa means, I am the orphan, and I am the one that was left with the people. So now they have put us in, we the Bassa people now, they have put us into something the Nimaya called Zalatule. We are in, it's a conundrum. Do you put aside the daughter, the biological daughter of a child of Grand Bassa County for an adopted daughter? I love that political move. Whoever came up with that, put the ball in the court of the Bassa people. We have been playing the ball. This is the strategy. The ball is now in the Bassa people court. You decide whether you are going to take your adopted daughter over your own biological daughter. Your biological daughter is running not to endorse, but she's running to be number 2, positive number 1, ready to be president at any day. Are you going to abandon her and go with your daughter, your adopted daughter, who is not even on the ticket? Not on the ticket, but she's endorsing somebody. She's bringing somebody into the county. So these are the topics. We are also going to be looking at the sermon. In the Holy Bible, we have the Sermon on the Mount. Today, we are going to be looking at Prince Johnson's sermon. And we're going to dissect, hopefully you all have listened to his sermon, where he called the vice president's son a Zoko, a druggie. And he said the vice president needs to bring her son into the church for him to lay hands on him and heal him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting heated. Then on the other hand, we have another Bassa man in the news, my own first cousin, my auntie's son, Daniel Cheer. Today, whether he flip-flop, he went and now has basically endorsed the CDC. So, I mean, the politics is getting heated. Let's get right to it. I know you guys can't wait to dissect it. Yesterday was a big day in Grand Bassa County. And usually what we do here, we tip our hat to the guys who put up a show, and it was a show. I'm going to leave this to Mr. Michael Padmore. They now have the momentum, clear momentum. You win, you unboost Joseph Boykai and Yomri Kanga in Grand Bassa County. I want to be very clear here because Michael Padmore is a Bassa man, so he has a stake in this. Yes. Mr. Jimmy Eastman is another Bassa man, he has a stake in this. Aliu Kamara is another Bassa man, he has a stake in this. I am a Bassa, the only stranger on here.
No. My mother Bassa almost so I get Bassa.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say John Palmer waits on John Red. Mr. Padmore, welcome, congratulations, well-organized program. You sent a message. We are going to dissect you. We're going to attack you. But first of all, we had to celebrate a great day yesterday in Grand Bassa County. It's all yours. The stage is yours. Set the table for us, sir. This is a buffet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So yes, that was just a kickoff. That it's no secret. The people of Grand Bassa, we know what we're worth. We're not worth to be cast aside after we have shown you loyalty. For so many years for you to cast us aside. For why? Like Pastor Paul, I know how to be for a president too. Yeah? So the Bassa people came out yesterday and they spoke. And they spoke in their numbers and they spoke in their strength. We are worthy. Okay? And so that is the momentum with which we are going. Our next move is to introduce the rest of the country to our ticket. Okay? And we're going to let them know this is the winning ticket. This is the integrity ticket. Okay, and if Liberia wants integrity in their leadership and they want somebody to truly fight corruption and bring them out of the dungeons of poverty, that is the ticket that they go for. Okay, nobody on that ticket there has been involved in any corruption, has voted badly, got any kind of speck on them. Okay, that is the integrity ticket. The Grand Bassa people have, we the Grand Bassa people, we have embraced them. The Bassa belt is ready, and we are going to take it across the country. I await any challenge, any question.
Don't be so combative.
You are muted, Mr. Gaiman.
Mr. Eastman, I'm doing the tic-tac-toe here. I'm going crisscross. The ball is in your court because we are all Bassa people here. The ball was being bounced all over the country. The Cummings team put a strategy together to say we will force the Bassa people to actually review the hand, because we playing joker here. We playing cards. Everybody keeping their ace tight to their chest, and these guys are saying we're gonna pry that ace card. You gotta show your hand, and I think they did a great job yesterday. We're gonna start with the president, Mr. Ethan.
I'm not one who favors politics relative to tribal politics. I don't advocate it, because what tribal politics does, it breeds mediocrity and a bias that it defeats your purpose. We should be looking at the quality of people, their integrity, their honesty, and their intentions in the tribe. Because if you only look at tribe, you may be employing a murderer. You could be giving a pass to a rogue, and all that. That is why we can't judge on the basis of tribe. However, the Bassa people should have, like all tribes in Liberia, should have a say in where the country is going. And the Bassa people are uniquely situated. In fact, you wouldn't even know someone is Bassa because they are so tribal neutral in the way they behave themselves, the way they go on. You have to ask, just like you mentioned everybody here. You have to ask them. Then it would tell you, say, no, I have Bassa blood. That's where that's how I came on this earth. Bassa almost shed blood for me before I got here, so I have a claim. But they don't rub it in your face, and they don't judge people by tribe. So they are one of the best tribes to be part of the direction of Liberia. So this thing that happened in Bassa is a joy, because the whole nation will benefit from a direction of the Bassa people, who are not going to be judging based on tribe. Now, I'm concerned. I have always been concerned about Yomble's and Dylan's handling of the Liberty Party. And when I say that, I mean your party is supreme. You have to preserve your party. You have to make it strong and formidable so that it has a play in the national direction. I did not understand why Yomble would give up the party or give support to somebody out of the party without the party coming together and discussing it. This is what led to the rift in the party, and we almost saw the party completely split up in two and fall. I don't think that's leadership. I think what should have been foremost is to preserve the party, make sure Liberty partisans are together, and as you discuss the merits of each of the candidates that are contesting, since Liberty Party was not putting up a candidate, as you have discussed it, and if you all come to a conclusion that everybody should vote the way they want to vote, or the party should take a certain direction, that's how it should have been done. I think the unilateral decisions by she and Dylan were politically immature, because that could have led to the breaking of the party, and if the party is their base. So this is good for Liberia. We have another option. Anytime you have more options to choose who you want to lead the country, it is better for the country. So this is a good thing, and it's especially good because now you have people with unintended bias part of the equation, and it's very necessary. This is not the same with other counties. Bassa is very, very unique as compared to the other counties. So this is a step in the right direction.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, all the friends and analysts on here, please do us a favor and share this show. We are going to have some discussion. We're going to take some calls, and then we're going to read the comments. So, ladies and gentlemen, please share with everybody else in your network. And ladies and gentlemen, in the radio land, television land, podcast land, watching us, please share this show. Get involved. Let's be interactive. Uh, Mr. Morris, uh, you are next on here. We saw an organization yesterday. Be as it may, call it what you may. It was well organized. They had a sense of purpose. They delivered. People were happy. Whether they came from somewhere else and came to Bassa, that was beside the point. The objective here was to have a convention or a convention style gathering to select a running mate. They did that. What were your observations on the event yesterday?
Thank you, Mr. Goodman, and thank you for having me on the show. I would say this, but just based on the optics, it was good. It was a success. But there was one person on that stage that I was looking at, and I thought he would have made an excellent vice presidential pick, and that was Bessa Finley. And I'm guessing the reason they didn't pick him is because Cummings wanted to have a balanced ticket in terms of the gender, you know, in terms of gender equity. So I think Finlay, being a former pro tem, served as foreign minister, he has a wealth of experience politically. And he's a direct rival of Yombi Kanga Lawrence. He only lost to, I think, by a few thousand votes the last time. So I think he's a bona fide, Bazolan politician that has a great following and can rival even that of Yombi Kanga. So I was pondering, I'm like, why didn't Cummings pick, Finlay? Because he certainly has a lot more political capital than Brumskine does at this moment. So perhaps it was just based on the gender and he wanted to go with, a woman, perhaps. But what Mr. Eastman said, I want to kind of buttress that. The Bassa people I love all throughout the country. They live with different tribes. They live with the Pella people. They live with the Gill people. They live with, in the southeast with their tribal cousins. So they're everywhere. They're infectious. A lot of people like Bassa people. During the wartime, one of the people that was, you know, widely spread based on the tribe was the Bassa people because they're kind of neutral, like Mr. Eastman said. So I think being that they're a large, population in the country, the second largest to be exact, having somebody close to the presidency or the helm of power who have some Bassa roots is a good thing. For the most part, they're neutral people. They're not going to really be tribalistic when they get there and favor their own people. I guess we'll never know because we never had a Bassa president or vice president. But I think the ticket, for me, I'm reserved on the ticket because I think it's a ticket of inexperience. I would say this to be honest with you. Cummings have never served in government. He's never been in a minister or director of anything in our country. All of his experience is based in the United States. So having somebody who had the experience in Liberia like a Finlay would have been, I think, a good balance for him. But having Charlyne Brumskine, who has a name recognition from her father, but still is young behind the ears when it comes to Liberian politics, I think that's a ticket of inexperience. And I don't know if it's going to really go, far to get him elected. But the program, the outcome of the program and the turnout was really good. Optically, it looks good. A lot of people out there. So, I mean, for them, it was a success. But I think in the long run, it will be a problem, especially based on the inexperience of Brumskine. I'll leave it there.
Great. Mr. Kamara, put on your positive hat. We are not going to the negative years. I want you to dwell on what did you see yesterday that is positive. If you were the standard bearer or if you were to look at the positive side of what happened, can you tell me honestly what was positive about yesterday's event?
There were no guns shooting there. Nobody was shooting. Nobody stopped anybody there. That was the only positive thing I saw. But let me just tell you this. Let me tell you. When it's ironic when I hear this man say, "Oh, it was not for trouble." Blah 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 blah. Good political speech. In fact, I admire the way you laid it out. If I didn't know any better, I would believe you. The reason why, first of all, that Brumskine was chosen is on a tribal basis. Because one, if you can get what do you call it? Cummings does not have a stronghold. If he can get a strong stand in Grand Bassa County, then he at least has a base. It's a tribal thing. He believes that by getting Charlyne Brumskine, whom father was very popular among the Bassa people, that he gets some kind of a Bassa support. How is that not tribal? But I want to say this to you because it's difficult to discuss this thing, to discuss the thing and not discuss it holistically. All right. This whole thing that happened yesterday did not shake the Unity Party because we had insiders actually monitoring what was happening. We have to do that. And we realized 75% of those who were at the program were not even from Grand Bassa County. 75%. So it doesn't give us any guarantee that this man is strong in Grand Bassa County. Number one. Number two, this ticket is a complete return of the settlers. And this will hurt this guy.
You move from Bassa to settlers again?
But I'm making my point.
No, Kamara, I'm saying we're dwelling on the positive.
But there's not. Okay, go ahead. There's absolutely no positive there. But go ahead.
Oh, come on, Mr. Kamara, you are in opposition, so am I. Okay? I'm a sedition.
You are not in opposition, you're a sedition.
But if
opposition to ANC, he meant.
If we talk about ANC, both of us, we are outside. We are attacking them, but you got to give them some credit for something.
But I already did. I don't saw anybody with knife, no police arrested anybody. There was no gun. That's the only positive I saw over there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but Ali, you can't have your cake and eat it.
Listen,
you can't say you're looking for the Bassa people support, but then in fact that thing they call settler don't exist anymore, Ali. And you are misinforming people. I know I'm trying to say it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
you bring something back from 19 Yeah, the people who are no longer calling settler, all of them are integrated. I wasn't even given the chance to elaborate because I got more to say, but I wasn't even given the chance to elaborate.
Jimmy, every time you argue on this particular topic, you prolong it, you give it some validity. Mr. Eastman, not Mr. Eastman, Mr. Padmore, the only good thing that happened to your event yesterday was they didn't have guns over there and they were not chopping people's heads off.
No boy over there. The boy over not there.
Oh God.
The boy over not there. So
this is why they folk don't let Bassa people because
Jeremiah Cohen not there.
Listen, that's why they don't let Bassa people because they think they call return. Okay? To flip the switch. You see what he just did?
It didn't do anything.
He said, Alu Kamara is right. There were no Boyo there because Boyo were in Nima.
Boyos are in Maryland. Because Boyos are in Maryland. And Boyo was there.
Okay.
That's why he forgets to
Look, the people here are worried. The people are worried. They can't sleep. They can't sleep. They are looking at the momentum that is building. They can't sleep. And we are going to take this momentum across the country. There's no stopping this. I heard a train broke down. But I had to be on old train. The old train will break down. We are taking this momentum across the country. And I challenge anybody. Bring any kind of argument. The Bassa people dollar. And when you want to set on him behind, oh man, bring that argument. When you come Buchanan, I tell the Bassa people will speak to you so you can hear. We are listening. Kinley, we are listening. UP, you told our daughter she was not good enough to be a VP. You went Nima and told somebody from there. You stay there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kamara.
Yeah.
For anybody who say this thing should not be tribal, they are mistaken. And I made this clear over and over in the United States. You will see my own godfather, Michael Dukakis, as small as he is, when they say the Irish people having their parade, he will be there in green. And he know he Greek. He's not Irish, but he's there dressed. When the Italian people having their stuff in New York, they are there. Okay? So we do this not because we hate someone, but listen, I'm a proud Bassa man. And like I said, the Bassa belt, like my grandfather used to say, Bassa is the only tribe, the only people who has the bloodstream that runs through everybody in the country.
Yep.
And when you look at Mr. Kamara, he will tell you where he was born and raised, generations in Bassa. They won't look at him as a Fula man, Mandingo man, they won't. They look at him fat. They selected his father as a chief. So we have no tribal lineage when it comes to being vindictive or doing anything because of your tribe. But we love when we are playing our counter meet. When they say Grand Jita is playing or Grand Bassa is playing, Lofa Kante is playing, we huddle and we fight and we celebrate the winners. It doesn't mean we are going out there to kill people. So there's nothing wrong with us going to Nima and picking a Gil man, going to Bassa and picking a Bassa woman, going to Kema and picking a Va person. It is part of our DNA and we should celebrate it as long as we use it. We don't use it to undermine, to denigrate, to kill everybody. So we all have to keep our identity. Mr. Kamal, go ahead.
Yeah, thank God because I didn't finish.
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
This is a huge mistake on the part of Musa Belton and Alexander Benedict Cummings. One of the reasons why Alex waited until Joseph Boakai made his pick is because he wanted to collect the template. Anywhere Joseph Boakai collected from, Alex would have gone to the opposite of that individual because he wants to compete. In his mind, his competition is Joseph Numa Boakai. At least that's what he thinks. The Liberian people think otherwise. So he made their choice because he felt that because Jumbly wasn't chosen, so the Bassa people, would be upset. They would rebel that their daughter wasn't chosen, and therefore he can go in there and select someone, and the Bassa people would support him in revenge. He's playing the tribal politics. You know how they used to do the divide and the rule, the conquer. This is a man who does not know Maryland County where he claimed to be from. This is the man. And then you will go and select a girl who was born somewhere, raised in America, doesn't know Grand Bassa, and claim that she's a Grand Bassa County citizen. Now let's talk about this clean hand that they're talking about. Clean hand, clean hand. We know Charles Brumskine very well. Let me give you a few history about him. When Charles Taylor was arrested in Sierra Leone on the onset of trying to destroy Liberia and kill over 250,000 Liberians, the Sierra Leone government, through President Momo, arrested Charles Taylor and locked Charles Taylor out. Do you know who freed Charles Taylor from jail as his attorney? Charles Walker Brumskine. Charles Walker Brumskine was the one who went to Sierra Leone, a seasoned lawyer, fought until he got Charles Taylor released from Sierra Leone. And since that time, from the Libya days, Charles Brumskine was Charles Taylor represented his attorney at law, his counselor at law. This man protected Charles Taylor legally until Charles Taylor became president. That's how he ended up as Senate pro tempore, as a compensation. A lot of people don't know that this is the daughter of this man who contributed to the massive killing of Liberian people. This is the daughter of this man. People are telling people that she's a clean hand. Was she born in Buchanan? Does she know Buchanan? Because her father say he's from Grand Bassa County, so Charlyne must claim the glory of Grand Bassa County. Let me tell you something. The Bassa people are honorable people. It is through the Bassa people today that we actually have a state called Liberia. If Zulu Duma, I know your children your name to Kimpite. He died not knowing his name was Kimpite. If Zulu Duma had not given place to the settlers to come on Bourgeois Island, but that's why we're not having this conversation. So we don't want people to sit here and say, oh, clean hand, or the people that the tribal neutral, and this. No, they're not tribal neutral. They both of them are American Liberians. Number one. Number two, he selected the woman from Grand Bassa County with the inkling that he will get Bassa support. Let's establish that.
So Kamal, you really going for the juggler today?
You muted. Jerome, you muted.
You're muted.
Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Focus on Liberia's On Point. If it's Sunday, we are on point. Most likely, you are on point. You are off point. We are here to discuss the issues. We are not here to sugarcoat anything. This is political season. In some area, they say it's the most selling season of the year. But for the next 4 months,
and I have not come to play either.
In the next 5 months, we
see that.
A ball. Mr. Eastman, I'll go to you, and then from there I go to Mr. Morris because we are new here. I mean, he has not talked much as we have. Let's look at the ticket. What is it that Charlyne?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, he's going.
Still, we're getting a feedback from Padmo. Maybe you need to come back in.
Okay, Jimmy, go in and come back out.
No, not Mr. Eastman. I think Mr. Padmo is the one that's getting the delay.
Mr. Padmo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay, now let's go to this. What do you see as a plus that Charlyne brings to the ticket of Mr. Cummings?
Oh yeah.
Let me some of the pluses because I want to dwell on the positive. Let's look at what she brings to the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. The first thing is, she's a female, so she brings the woman vote. She brings besides the incumbent. I don't believe there's any other party that has a female on their team, on their presidential team. That's the first one. The second one is her youthfulness. Okay.
47 years old.
Okay. What happened?
I don't know if that's called youth.
Life begins at 40. Life begins at 40, Mr.
She's
Kamara.
younger than you. She's younger than you.
Compared to
So wait. It's a youth.
Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a youth.
Yeah.
Compared to Waka, she's a baby.
She's a baby.
Yeah, baby. Hey, I got grandchild.
Don't know about youth, yeah. I ordered her 1 year. I don't want to call you.
Let me tell you one talk. Okay. That's the second. The third thing is her integrity. She has not been linked to anything. Okay. The fourth thing is that when you look at the two of them, they just seem to go together. You know, the dry red palmer. They just seem to go together. You know, like Doma and cold water fish. They just seem to go together. You know, and I think all those things are positives. They are positives. You know, in the whole process. You know, let me just keep it positive. I won't say anything, but that's what I believe. She's a woman. I think it's about time that another party has a woman on their ticket. Her youthfulness, I think that is exciting. We have a very young population. I think they will relate to her more. Her integrity, the fact that she has lived her life. This is a woman who went to school, you know, got a career. You know, she's a lawyer. She does the bar exam. She's a role model. She's a role model for other young Liberian women coming up. Okay? She's a role model for them. Come on, think about it. How many are here not proud of her, of who she is? I mean, as fathers, everybody here is a father. Everybody here proud of Charlyne Brumskine. Everybody here would, if we had the opportunity.
I don't say everybody. Speak for yourself. I'm proud of her for nothing.
We would introduce
Interrupting
party. You're worried.
Okay, Mr. Morris. I
will have you go to Mr. Eastman before me because he went in and came back in.
Mr. Eastman
coming from me, so they just listen to him.
Eastman, I'm warning Mr. Kamara. We are talking about the positive. Yeah, we ain't going to the negative, but he just can't wait. Mr. Eastman, tell us what Charlyne means to the ticket, what she brings to the ticket, what she brings to Liberia.
You know, there's a famous saying about the Good Samaritan. Who is good? They're Jew. Okay, let's talk tribal, because tribal politics is forefront right now.
Sure.
This Jew was hurt, damaged. He had been robbed by his own Jews. His own Jew beat him up, robbed him, and left him on the side of the road to die. The first man was passing by was a big Sadducee, a Jew. He passing by. In fact, he went on the other side of the road. He didn't even want to look at it, man.
The other man
passed by. Please, let me talk.
Okay, go ahead.
The other Jew passed by, didn't look at him. A Samaritan, a man from a different tribe, saw the man on the side, went to him, administered some medicine to him, carried him to a motel, and told the motel owner, I will pay you when I come back for anything the man will need, wants you. A good Samaritan is somebody do good for you, not your tribe. So this tribal politics, this is the devil, that's Satan speaking to us.
Too bad.
Because he wants to defeat us. You're looking for a good person. You're not looking for a guilt person, a material person. You're looking for a good person. This is the focus. What Charlyne brings, she's a person of integrity. A young lady, she dukes her law school. She's been involved in a lot of humanitarian efforts. She's been involved in advocacy for women. She is well liked and well respected. She's not been tainted by scandals of stealing. Our country now is being known for inept corruption. So you need someone who would be completely opposite to that to change the country. Because anybody who's already tainted by this, who already has this in their system, will continue the same. They cannot rescue something that they are part of. They can't.
Oh, yeah?
They go using these jobs to try to say, oh, we're going to for funding someone else. Then you will rescue, you can rescue why rescue yourself before you talk about rescue somebody else? So this government, the young Elvis Morris brings a point that you need it good to have experience. But what is our government experience? What are they getting? The kind of system we have there now, that if they don't do their work until you give them something, that is compromised on every level. That's not that. I agree. Experience is very worthy, but the experience we're getting from our system now that's been rooted for so many years is not the kind of experience you want. You need a fresh start, a fresh set of morals, a fresh set of principles, somebody who doesn't owe anybody anything. When you are compromised, people know what you've done. They know what you've taken before. When you come in front of them and say, "But man, Jerome, remember when we did so and so?" But when you have people who have not put their hand in the cookie jar, nobody can tell them, no, we used to do this, we do that. That is why what this ticket is offering. You're offering Liberian people, somebody whose hands have not been in the cookie jar. They're not going there to steal. They have their own money, and they are proven in other places that they don't steal and they're full of integrity. So this is an option to the Liberian people. That is what this ticket brings. You know, it's a healthy option, and it's up to the Liberian people to decide. But our tribal politics has never helped us. We need good Samaritans, not tribemen.
Thank you.
We'll go to the North Pole and bring down some.
No, let me come in, Mr. Gayman. I think it's my turn.
Mr. Kamara is Elvis.
Yes.
We are not going negative. We want to stay with the positive. What does she bring to the table that will help this ticket, help Liberia, and obviously make our Bassa people proud?
Right. I have a few good things to say about her, but before I even say, let me respond to Mr. Kamara's hypocrisy on this platform. When we talk about Jeremiah Cohn being associated with Prince Johnson, he said Jeremiah Cohn is not Prince Johnson. Matter of fact, his last name is not even Johnson, but he's trying to transfer the perceived, misdoings of Charlyne Brumskine's father, to her, to represent her character. And I'm no fan of Charles Taylor, but at that time he had not committed the atrocity in the country that he did. He was on his way to Liberia, but at the time he wasn't a warlord, and he had I mean, you can laugh, but he hadn't done any of that yet. So
go ahead.
No, yes, that's the point that I'm making. So he didn't commit the atrocities then. So even Charles Brumskine, fighting for Charles Taylor, that's what lawyers do. Even some people who commit murder in this country, they're entitled to have a lawyer. So you can't put that on her as being as tinting her character. But let me get to the positives for Charlyne. Like you said, Mr. Eastman, she's well learned. You know, a lot of politicians are lawyers, and the reason they make good politicians is because they are experts at juxtaposing different positions, drawing clear contrast to one political ideology, and there's their own political ideology. So I think being on the campaign trail, perhaps we will see that skill come out where she can draw a clear contrast between the CDC, the UP, and the CPP. So I think she'll be good at that, making that argument. And obviously, perception wise, she's young. Age wise, she may not be so young, but in terms of the way she looks, she's beautiful. Not that it really matters, but that's appealing to some of the people from the opposite sex. She has a good name recognition. And Mr. Kamara, I learned something on this platform that I didn't know before. From his call formula. Tribe and tribe is like it's fluid. You can be a Bassa man, live with the Loma people, and you embrace their tribal ways of doing things, and you adapt into that tribe, and you almost become a Loma man over a generation. So yes, technically she's of Congo descent, but her father had been ingratiating himself with the Bassa people for a long time, and they accepted him as one of them, and by extension, she's a Bassa woman. So I think we can't take that away from her. So she brings a lot of great experience in terms of law. Her integrity I think, is impeccable. We've never heard anything about corruption or impropriety from Mrs. Charlyne Brumskine. So I think on that front, she will make a good vice president. I just wish that she had more political capital before, Cummings picked her. But overall, she's wicked smart, and I think she will make good arguments on the side of the ANC and the CPP. I'll leave it there.
Great. Before we go to the negatives, I would like to chime in on. No, come on now. You ain't gonna give me a chance to talk about Uno Passer now. You know, you Uno Passer you saw what no gun over there.
So one more time, you want to talk again?
We coming to your specialty, which is the negative. We coming to it. Don't worry. I know you are loaded and ready to go. But I'm a seditian, and I will support the president and support the CDC. But I have to be. In this country, I'm a Republican, registered Republican. I'm a voter. I'm a Republican voter. Usually when we have our conventions, and I think those of you who pay attention to politics in this country, when the other party is having their convention, we lay down our arms. We stop our activities. We do all of our political thing on the ground to give the folks that are having their convention their spotlight. Let them glow into it. You sit back and you take notes where you can attack them and order that you put whole into it. But while they are having that whole week of festivities, you lay low and you follow and you praise them. What I saw yesterday, in 7 days for them to pull this off was magnificent.
It was 2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks or not. So it took you 40 years and you couldn't find a vice president.
50.
Okay. And these guys, it took them, we were beating on them when they went to Ganta. They couldn't find a vice president, were beating on them. They said, well, give us 14 more days. They gave them 14 days. And they were able to pull it off. That's a lot of organization. That's a lot of coordination. Obviously, they had the resources to pull it off. But what it may be, that was great. Second, the vice presidential candidate, Ms. Charlyne Brumskine, I have always said it, any political candidate, presidential candidate, that does not pick a woman, it is mandatory to me. You have to pick a woman. It is time that we bring our wives, our sisters, our daughters into the fold. We cannot have a society 100% dominated by men anymore. So I take off my hat to Mr. Cummings for putting a female, and I hope Gonglo does the same thing, and I hope Mr. Moniba does the same thing. It is time that we do 50-50. I think Ellen Johnson had it right. When she became a candidate, she decided that she was going to bring a male to accompany her. And not only that, but she went into a part of the country where she felt that the vote was raised, the folks were easy to work with, and they are reasonable people. And she picked Boycott, and it worked very well. They won 2 terms. You cannot knock that. That was a brilliant strategy. So any man who is running for president now in Liberia that picks another man, to me, you are blinded by either ignorance or chauvinism. We have to bring women into the fold. So I want to commend Mr. Cummings for that. And the young woman, the best of all, you can say all you want to say, she has no experience, but guess what? You have nothing on her either. She's clean. You cannot say she voted for something because she has never participated in politics. You can't say she took bribe because she never been there. She didn't take any of the 30,000. She never took any of the developmental thing, the other thing, money for agriculture break. Then they come to America and enjoy themselves. She has never done any of that. So these 2 people on the ticket, they are brand new. The only thing we can do is that these people have never run for public office. They have never dealt with public people. Running corporation is totally different from running government. That's all we can say. But this ticket is as clean and brand new as it gets.
Okay.
Charlyne Brumskine brings a lot to the table, a new perspective, clean. When you talk about clean hands, now she can say that's a real clean hand because she has never been associated with any of those folks. So these are the positive. You cannot take that from her. The woman is brilliant. Yeah. There is no correlation that because you do your class, you're going to do well in life or in your career. There is no guarantee. There is no correlation. But we know knowledge gives you a chance.
Okay.
Okay? If you have an expertise, you went to school, you are educated and trained, the chances of your success is almost 80 to 90%. So we know that is a good thing for our women to be highly educated. We didn't appoint her because she's a female that she needed to be appointed. She is a female and qualified and well learned and well read.
Okay, but that be so damn man. I don't forget to talk.
And then best of all, she's from our hometown. She's from our hometown. So I am saying my Bassa girl have brought something to the table. And I've been saying she's even more qualified than Cummings. I can say that because that's my home girl. But that's the positive. Ladies and gentlemen, please share this show. Get involved. I'm reading the comments here. Beautiful comments from all. I like this guy who says the Unity Party, the CDC, the ANC, they are going to lose to ACO. So there's another political party called ACO in Liberia. I think they're going to pick their own running mate. So we are waiting for ACO before you beat CDC, ANC, and Unity Party combined. Please show us who is your running mate. Let's see who the vice president candidate for ACO is. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much for sharing this show. I want to recognize some people, my own right-hand man.
Man, I'm going to turn a minute. I want to talk to you, Mr.
I'm coming to you, my man. I'm running the show. I'm running the show here. Mr. Emmanuel Action Pong, another great guy. A writer, analytical, highly intellectual. We are on it all the time. Brian Morris, Glennie, obviously. Mr. Hall, my Bassa boy from Forceville. So we got all the Bassa people lined up over here. We got Zio guy, another. Oh, come on now. You'll cut it out. Summer War Genius, we'll call you name as we go along. Now, let's go to the flip side. This is what this man have been waiting for. He didn't see any guns. He didn't see any knives. So on the negative, please don't mention that they killed somebody. Mr. Kamara, tell me what was so bad about this event yesterday or about this ticket, because this is where you wanted to go. Tell us. We are waiting. We all ears.
First of all, let me clarify something. The young man said that Charles was not a warlord when he arrested in Sierra Leone. Charles was arrested in Sierra Leone because of that. Okay? Number one, Charles already had his troop in Libya. He was looking for an entry point. He came to Sierra Leone and bribed the Sierra Leone government, and he was arrested. So let's get that information clear out.
You have to have fought a war to be a warlord, Mr. Kamara.
Excuse me.
Give
I don't want to get there because I already my Ellis comment. So, so anyway, I'm giving you facts here. You're giving me opinion. I don't have time for that.
Kamara said he doesn't want. Listen, Kamara said he doesn't want to be mad. He ain't mad yet. If you don't want to really see him back, go ahead, Mr. Kamara.
Yeah. Listen, I refuse to go back to 1979 and back. I refuse to do that. We all have history. We all are descendants of other nations. That's a whole Liberian story. This is not to discriminate or to ostracize anyone. When a snake bites you, you are afraid of a maggot. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot have two people on one team that represent the True Party. This is all political. It's not about alienating anyone. You cannot have two people on one political party that represent the True Party. We're not going
No. How to stop him? You can't spew false information. No, the man cannot spew false information yet. How do they? Look, many people. No. Stop spewing false information.
I will finish my point.
Many people in the country never joined that.
Let me finish my point.
All around. Do not.
I demand to make my point.
Mr. Eastman,
you cannot spew false information.
I demand to make my point.
You're not being fair to Mr. Kamara. Mr. Kamara, go ahead.
We have backgrounds from Guinea, from Sierra Leone, from the Ivory Coast. That's the Liberian story. We have background from the Americas. That's the Liberian story. However, history must remind us always, before we take our next step, in order for us to not repeat the errors in history. If Cummings had picked one indigenous Liberian, it would have made a lot of sense to me. How can you have two Congo people on one team? That is that particular team. I'm talking about look, when you have money, you pay for band, you pay for culture troop, the people will come. He got a lot of money. The people will come. Let me remind you, I was in Liberia running campaign in 2005. The CDC pulled the largest crowd that Liberia has ever seen in an electoral campaign. Guess what? Ellen flocked us. All right? We also saw Vanish Sherman. That man, Mr. Cummings, has not spent money. Ask people who were in the election in 2005. Vanish Sherman alone had more than 35 different brand new vehicles. Azuzu Triple, Nissan Patrol, everything we're talking about. Cummings don't even come close to what Vanish Sherman spent. Everywhere Vanish Sherman went, the country came up with Sangba. In Pella, they call it Modo. They beating all that one for him. Ask him what was his place in the election. We, the Liberian people, again, let me remind Mr. Eastman, I am in no way saying that anybody in the race is not a Liberian. I myself have some background from outside of Liberia. That's the Liberian history. The Crown people have background from outside Liberia. That's the Liberian history. What we are saying is political. A political party called the Tree Party mishandle our people, mismanage our resources, deprivated and degraded our people. We cannot have descendants of the True Party to come back and take over Liberia again. We're not having that. That is a bitter pill. Nobody want to swallow it. Nobody want to say it. Nobody want to hear it. Aliu V. Kamara say it.
Let me come in.
Listen,
everything I've been hearing what you're saying, but there is no establishment how these people are descendants of the True Party. Let me try to tell you something that you don't know. My father told me this a long time ago.
It's been done now.
Let me try to tell you something. Give me a chance now. I'm trying to put there are things you don't know. There are things you do not know. The True Party was forced on Liberian people. The people started cutting people checks, and they were never part of the party. They never voted. They never did that. You can't understand that this thing was imposed on people. It wasn't a fair thing, and this is why everybody was looking to the day we have multi-democracy, that we can choose who we want. But for you to come on this platform to tell that because the people from have Congo heritage or whatever, so the True Party, that is misleading. I would tell you, say you're part two of the True Party because all of them were part of it. All of them. So my man, we know all about the Kamaras. I don't know you're the Sierra Leone Kamara or the Guinea Kamara, but we have different ones. You are you're part of the True Party. So do not do not, you've been doing this a lot. Do not cast somebody's forefathers or grandfather or something doings on them. Look at them for what they do, for who they are. You are sound like these racist and white people in this country that think black people can't do nothing for themselves. They're just savages. That's the same ideology.
But there's more coming up.
Let him speak.
Aliyu, you can't keep doing this thinking that you are projecting on our Liberian people. God, Liberia where it is today, because a lot of those ideas, there were people who say, "Oh, the people from this place can't do nothing. The people from that can't do nothing." That is same idea and prejudice and bias. You are spreading it. In other words, you're not progressive. You're not one of the new breeds. You're supposed to evaluate people who they are. When we go to school, we never had time for asking you who you tribe. When we say let's go move, we'll go move, go play football, we'll go play basketball. That was it. When this tribe thing came up, and you are trying to rekindle something that will blaze in your face. Wait, let me finish. So many people have tried to deny the Mandingo people of their heritage in Liberia. And we have to tell them that's a blatant from the time the
inception. When was the last time Congo people were appointed Winnie as vice president? When was the last time Congo men appointed?
Do you know who was wait.
That's a vice president.
Mr. Eastman, now you gotta address my question. What is the negative about this ticket?
Okay. Now let me tell you the negatives that I was able to pick
up. The drawback. I won't say negative, but the drawback, yes.
Well, they will have dissenters like Mr. Kamara, who will say, "Oh, these people they're looking like they of one group. It's not a mixed group." But that would be one of the dissent. The other dissent, they will say, "Okay, these people are well educated. They're not like some of us who haven't been to college yet, okay?" Or they say these people are from the elite. I would have been much more comfortable.
I'm saying you do your own analysis. What are the drawbacks? What you see as a drawback?
Personally, I see. Unfortunately, the entire Liberty Party is not behind Charlyne, which would have been positive because they would have brought in a lot of votes. So because the party is splintered, it may have not as a great effect as if the entire Liberty Party was backing Charlyne. That's one thing. I also see that there's still a lot of propagation you have to know. Now you have to introduce her to everybody, not just in Bassa. It's not enough for Bassa. You got to go to Riverside, where my grandma from. Okay, you got to go to Lofa. You got to go to places in Grand Jida. You have to make the people aware who Charlyne is and who Cummings is. I think it's a good dynamic, but they got a lot of groundwork to do to get to introduce the people to everybody. Let people know that what these people are bringing to the table is not their name, it's their ethic or the positivity and things they want to do. Instead of we dwelling on tribe and name, let's go by what do these people would bring to us if we elect them. That's all I see.
Mr. Morris, I know you touched on it briefly in your opening remark. What is the drawback to this ticket?
I will say this in defense of Mr. Kamara. I would defend Mr. Kamara here openly. I think we're being too harsh to him. And the reason I'm saying this is because let's be honest with ourselves. We had a president being killed in the country in 1980 because the perception that one group of people was dominating, the political space in our country. Samuel Doe came there. His group of people dominated the political space in the country as well. So the reality is both of them have Americo-Liberian background, which is a fact. Now, if Mr. Kamara is saying that it will be something from the Chewy Party, I don't know if both of their parents were, Chewy Party stalwarts, but the reality is they're both from the same ethnic stock. if there was a crime man running for president and you pick another crime man from Monrovia, say he's from Grand Jury, you pick another crime man from Monrovia, people will say, "What are the crime people party? That the crime people ticket?" Or you can say the same thing about Gilman. So the reality is we have to be sensitive when it comes to tribal, representation in politics because we fought wars about this before. And I think that's perhaps what Mr. Ali was trying to say
Yeah,
that,
but Mr. Evans, real quick.
yes,
You can't blame Mr. Cummings because everybody knew that Cummings did everything he could. He went to Nyobli Kanga, he went to other folks, and they all decided they didn't want no part of it. So
right,
he is making the best of the hands that were dealt him. So you can't hold him responsible. Should he not pick anybody because the guild people, the minor people turn him down? So he just say, "Okay, I'm going to no." So he picked the next best thing that happened and let it change forward. So you cannot blame Cummings for that. That's what he tried his best. He went to Nyobli. Nyobli admitted that Cummings went to her honestly
right.
and gave her reason why she should
That's
join
correct.
the ticket. Okay? Went to her honestly and told her why she should join him to form a ticket. Not only that she's a female and qualified, but it would give us some geological whatever.
Geographic balance.
It's going to give us the female balance. And
Right.
she turned it down. So we can't blame him to say, you pick another person for the tree party.
You're wrong.
He checked all the boxes. If anything, it's reverse discrimination. The
No,
discrimination
Mr. Gamey, I would disagree a little bit respectfully. I would say this. That's why I'm saying this because I'd like to be fair on the platform, even though I disagree with Mr. Ali's Kamara, political stance. But I don't think he's way out of the realm of understanding when he's saying what he's saying. I think we have to be cognizant of the society at large. But we can't just look at it because we're in the United States and we've been more enlightened in terms of what a cohesive society should be, and not looking at tribes or regional politics. But what he's saying is valid. So I will give him props on that. And I'm not saying this because I agree with the tribal politics, but overall in the country, just based on our history, we have to be sensitive when it comes to tribal balance or regional balance in politics. We have to do it just based on our history and what happened based on exclusion from certain tribes or certain regions, and people fought wars because of that. So Cummings got to be cognizant of it. And when you're talking about him having no other option, that's a reflection of Cummings himself. Because if you can't get other people from different, socio, political, ethnic, background to gravitate towards you, to want to go along with you with your political ideas, then that's a problem. That means you're not cutting cutting across, the landscape of our politics. So that's Cummings' problem for not getting people who are from different ethnic and socio, economic backgrounds, to be his vice president. But quickly, I will say this: the negative of this, this ticket, like I said, Mr. Kamara said it, it's a negative. Whether we want to admit it, those of us who are in the United States and is frowned upon to say things based on tribal, lineage, but many people in the country will have certain, reservation based on just the tribal alliance. That's both of these people come from a similar stock, and thereby people will look at it as going back to the old days. I'm being honest, not that I completely agree with that sentiment, but it's the reality in our country. So I will say let's back off Mr. Kamara a little bit and not beat on him too much. He's only echoing. He's only echoing what's probably really going on in the country in terms of the tribal politics on the ground in Liberia. I'll leave it there.
I don't think Mr. Kamara is off base here because even Mr. Padmore will tell you that in politics you look for anything that will give you an edge. Okay. I have heard other people.
You're bossing the secret now. You're bossing the secret. Don't boss the secret.
Yeah, but and we usually say, man, in student government, when I was at Bassa High School, when the guys would say, oh man, look at our country ass, don't vote for him. And we would turn around to and say, look at our Congo boy. We all do this to get an edge. When the election is over, it's over. But let's go to the second piece. Mr. Padmore, I know you're gonna but I want you to take a lead off here on the second one. You can answer and go. The second one is the political strategy. Okay. of Nyobli Kanga being the queen of Bassa for so long, and the only female out of Grand Bassa County. If you talk about Grand Bassa County, we know only Nyobli Kanga from the women's side. And now the strategists on the other end came and said, you know what? Nyobli Kanga does not deserve 100% of this pie. We can cut this piece. We can cut this pie into pieces. We need our share. And somebody threw in Charlyne Brumskine. Now we have two formidable women out of Grand Bassa County, equally qualified heavyweights. We love both of them. But this is, to me, it is a political play of the year. Go take it from there. The two dynamics here.
Okay, so first let me finish off really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is indeed sad when we accept what we believe as the political status quo in our country. We saw Charles MacArthur Taylor run an election and get over 90% of the vote. Okay? Nobody say Congo man. Nobody said that. You know, we have as a people have to get to a point where we elevate our political standings, our political ideologies beyond what my great-great-grandfather was. Aliyu Kamara, great-great-grandfather, came from Sierra Leone. Should I hold that
not even
against you?
great. Say my grandfather. Not
Your
even great.
grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Should I hold that against him and say that man should not fight? No, let me speak, Chief. Let me speak. I'm begging you. I know it's hard for you.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Should I hold it against him and say that man not Liberian man? We shouldn't involve him in our politics? No, he's a Liberian man. True blood, even though his grandfather came from Sierra Leone, he's a Liberian man. You know, in America here, if you white, you have to be white. Once you miss that blood, well, among black men, that black child,
American.
that black child. But that is the same thing we're emulating here. If a Congo person and a native person get together, they say that Congo child.
No.
That Congo child. That Congo child. You know, why did the Bassa people embrace Charles Walker Brumskine? Because he has Bassa blood. He has Bassa blood. And his daughter has Bassa blood. For us to sit down here and say, oh, you know what happened? It will be an issue because she's a miracle Liberian. So what happened to her Bassa side? Are we going to ignore it? Does that not matter?
That's 2%. That's 2%.
Let me talk, Chief.
Okay.
Does that not matter? It matters. It's a part of her. And we can't accept it because a few politicians continue to use this against us, against our people, because we don't know better. We cannot continue to allow a few politicians to do this to us, to do this to our body politic. Well, we're not talking about the integrity, we're not talking about the education, we're not talking about the readiness, but we're talking about is her pa get Congo in his blood, her pa get Bassa in his blood. Come on now, people. If 1,000 of people watch us here, and they want us to elevate that.
Mr. Palmer, let me push back a little bit.
Go right ahead.
You've been hearing lately this thing against George Weah, and he say, oh, he's a Southerner, he's a Southeasterner. Everybody in the government from the Southeast, he's from the South. Isn't it the same thing? People from the Southeast. The Southeast has about 5 or 6 counties. Okay, we don't say this man from Grand Juliet, this man from Sino, the other man from Grand Cru, River G, Maryland. They don't say that. They say, oh, he's a Southeast.
Because they are the same. They are quiet.
You see? So we can't do it, but you know what? We have to accept it because that's why they miss a Kamara.
So, let me touch on my topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Touch on my topic. Okay. Look, I think it was a brilliant move. Okay. I think Nyobli should feel threatened because she is no longer the Queen of Bassa. And the Princess of Bassa has appeared. She's youthful, she's vibrant, and the Bassa people paying attention. So I think she should feel, I think it was a beautiful move. I don't think. I think when Yombly was contemplating on whether to be VP or not, I don't think she contemplated this move. I don't think she thought about this. I think she thought maybe they were going to go low somewhere else across the country, you know. But to come in her very backyard and to see that crowd of people that came out, man, look, it was a great move. If the CPP continues to make moves like this, they will be in the second round.
Mr. Kamara, whether you like it or not, few weeks, maybe a month ago, you were in Bassa, and I think Yombly Kanga made the remark that she was going to deliver, I think something to that effect, quote unquote, or something to that matter, that she was going to deliver Bassa. You, like Mr. Padmo said, never in your political calculus ever thought that somebody was going to come right into your backyard to eat off your plate. No matter what you call it, whether she get 10% or 15% or 20% from Bassa, she is cutting into your lead significantly. Now, one of the things we do in politics is not to fight on your own home court. But this now have put the fight. You have to now defend home court. You got to spend money, time, resources. When a presidential candidate in this country come from, let's say, when you look at Joe Biden from Ohio, the Republican won't go spend money there because there's no way they're going to win Ohio. But if you have to defend home court, you are fighting battle on so many fronts. I think this one hit you very hard, Mr. Unity Party. Go ahead and tell me how you're going to build a firewall to stop this momentum from Charlyne Brumskine.
Okay, first of all, let's clarify something. Charles Dakpana Ganke was relatable. The people did not see him as Congo. And the reason why they did not see him as Congo was because Charles Taylor was known from 1980 out to 1997. He was there, GSA Director General. Charles Taylor was a rebel leader that covered 80% of the country. Some people were born and raised within Charles Taylor rebel time. That's him they knew. Who know Cummings? But coming to your point here, Mr. Gilman, when you say, besides, Charles Taylor chose Ignore Dougalier, Gilman, he did not just go with two Congo people like Cummings did. Now, when you say people should not spend money, blah blah blah, but you saw Yombly when Yombly went to endorse Joseph Boakai in Buchanan. Everybody who went to Yombly was officials of either her party or of the Unity Party of other well-wishers, officials with their driver. They went there. How much money did Yombly spend? You saw the crowd. How much money did the Congo people have to spend on Saturday? Do you know that the entire ACO, you don't know how many Madingo people in Moravia? The whole belt from Raleigh all the way to Freeport at Madingo. ACO, through Musa ability, they carry buses loaded of Madingo people. Somebody don't even know Buchanan, never been there before. So what are you talking about here? Who's spending money? Yombly doesn't have to spend money to call anybody in Buchanan. She just have to send an announcement. For Charlyne to make headway in Buchanan, it requires money. Even her town hall and stuff, Cummings was pumping cash here in Musa Belde. She doesn't have to, Yombly doesn't have to do that. More besides, you're talking about 30% or so. We have not disagreed that Charlyne Brumskine and Cummings would be spoilers in this election. That's what they're going to do. They're going to spoil. The possibility of Cummings winning election in Liberia in this 2023 is like giving a needle to a blind man, getting a thread and say, find a hole. That's the situation Cummings is in right now. He got money. He got some money to burn. I am telling you, if I have friends and relatives, like all the Madingo Oman and Babeden who got those bosses, and you know the Madingo people got a lot of cars. All those people are telling us, say, I Tata, I will be my Adomo. You go there. You know what I'm saying? So we're not fighting when you say Yombly is how can Yombly be afraid of Charlyne in Yombly's county? How can Yombly be afraid of strangers like Cummings in her own county? This is a man who has no room in Maryland County. How can he have room in Grand Bassa County? Man, stop playing, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching On Point.
And you see how you thought nobody disturbed you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are it's getting hot over here. I think Mr. Padmo want before I go to Mr.
Obviously.
Mr. Padmo, go ahead with your retort.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you something. You know nothing about Cummings. You know what Cummings guy in
Not the problem.
Just relax. He's not trying to get your vote. Okay?
Good.
The vote he need, that was the vote he get it. Let me tell you something. People run around here all the time. Oh, Cummings spend money. Come spend money where? Spend money where? Where you saw Cummings divide money here? Where have you ever seen Cummings divide money? You don't see nothing there. You just talk because people want to talk. Oh, Cummings spend money. Cummings spend money. Okay? If you look on that stage, who went toe to toe with Yombi Kanga in the last election, almost defeated her? The divide was 2,000 votes. It was Boysonga Finlay. He was on that stage. Okay? Brown was on that stage. The people, Magdalene Harris was on that stage. Thomas Gosh was on the Bassa people were on the stage. You want to hear you talk about official king in car that who bought for them? They like bring people money. That you know, I think when Bassa people see it, they'll be happy. You can't in your air conditioned car, they can't drive up, they can't talk to all and go home.
At least we didn't chat about it.
You start again, you see? That's your problem. That's your problem. Unity Party. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Eastman. Mr. Eastman, we gotta hold some of this back for next Sunday. Next Sunday, we're gonna have as our co-guest here will be the most controversial person from the CDC called Poker Roberts. Poker Roberts is gonna be on here taking on Jimmy Eastman and Michael Padmo. Oh, I shouldn't leave out Alio Kamara. He's gonna come out here tomorrow.
Is that the same Poker Round who beat the? Is that the same Poker Round who beat the boy, the LU boy?
Wait until that time, my man. Wait until hold your fire.
You shouldn't be bringing that kind of man on here, though.
Hold your fire. Hold your fire.
Mr. Kamara, other people say I shouldn't bring you on because you are a travelist.
No, but I'm a normal human being. I don't go naked people brushing and beat them to death.
Mr. Eastman.
I'm a normal human being.
Mr. Eastman.
So
now we are going to talk about who normal and who not normal are here. So, are you normal, Mr. Eastman? Let's talk
I
about.
will not win. If you ask Eastman, you know I will not win. So I don't know why you even ask.
Okay, then let me leave Eastman. Mr. Elvin, is Poker Robert normal? Is he a normal human being if you know Poker Robert?
I'm not too familiar with him, but anybody who resorts to violence, from political arguments, perhaps it's not as normal as we all would hope. But again, as a CDC sympathizer, I'm looking forward to the conversation.
No, it is. People attack people. Poker Robert was never involved into the fire order, but that's.
We got videotape. We got videotape. It was.
Okay, bring out the videotape. Ladies and gentlemen, this is on point, and we will be going to. Reading some of our comments, but this is beautiful. We had Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here we are. The Bassa people are now faced. We are now faced with our two daughters, our two sisters, our two aunties, our two grandchildren. Sir, what position now, what game have the CPP played to put you in this conundrum, to put you in this position where we are talking about genetic geology? That means deep down in the soil now. We're not talking about geography anymore. We're talking about digging in the soil now. They don't give us, before that, I have never thought about having a choice. When we say Grand Bassa, we say Nyomli Kanga. Now we are forced to now have this conversation. You, as a father of two daughters, one Nyomli Kanga and one Charlyne Brumskine, one is running for vice president and one is supporting somebody for president. You, as a father, you the Solomon now, somebody brought this baby to you and said, this baby is mine. This other man said, the other woman said, the baby is mine. One person said, well, then just cut the baby in two. You now, as King Solomon, how do you deal with this? How should the Bassa people deal with this?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, and I'm glad you brought the story about King Solomon. You remember when they brought a baby, King Solomon said, okay, so two of you, let me just cut the baby in half. Before the man said, the red man said, no, I beg you. Let her have the baby, but don't cut out baby, don't cut my baby in half. I beg you. The two people you mentioned, Yombly and Charlyne, Yombly has allowed the Liberty Party to be split in half because of her advocacy for Boakai. And this is where, so it's not even a choice because now she's advocating for somebody out of the party. We're talking about somebody from Bassa within the Liberty Party. It should be a no choice because this woman is going for somebody who's not even the party. And let's examine who she's telling us to vote for. She's telling us to vote for a man who is advancing age, who can't campaign for himself, who may not even survive the full tenure of his presidency. He's telling us to vote for somebody who has just brought in a new people who were never loyal to him before, called the MDR, in the personage of Mr. Kuhn. So you're telling Liberian people to vote for President Kuhn because President Kuhn will eventually become the president. Okay? Whereas on the other side, you're telling us to vote for a liberty partisan, somebody we've been knowing from born and raised, despite the tribalist people who like to talk tribalism, but she is part of Liberia. Let's face it, all of us part of Liberia. Why we only mention tribalism when we're competing? Because you can't compete on merit, you use tribe. I want to say this again. People who use tribal politics cannot compete on merit.
Yeah, but
so they use tribalism.
You're not answering my question. You as a father, how are you going to
I'm just telling you because she is supporting somebody outside. Yombly is supporting somebody outside Bassa, outside the Liberty Party, somebody who is questionable if they will their loyalties will remain the same. It's no comparison to Charlyne, who is part of the Liberty Party. So the Bassa people have a clear path. Elect somebody who not even part of your party, nothing, or elect somebody who part of the party. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, for the people. So if what you say is a choice, I don't think it's a choice because the people Yombly is asking you to vote for is not. They're not a viable candidate because of the issues they have over there. They have different people with different loyalties. You are throwing the dice. So Yombly is asking you to throw the dice. Where Charlyne is your own daughter, and you know she has loyalty to the county, to the people.
Mr. Eastman, I think you're espousing some tribal sentiment with that statement, talking about loyalty, and she's one of your own. So I think maybe it's a bit counterintuitive when you're talking about not being a tribalist.
Mr. Morris.
Yeah.
To the party, the party. And the county.
You as a father of Grand Bassa County, okay? You got your two daughters here. You are faced with the two choices here. You have a daughter that is running to be second as the president, ready for day one to be president. You have another daughter who is not in the race, is not on any ticket, but endorsing someone. How will you? Where will your loyalty be as a father? To be honest, what would be your best choice?
I will look at myself as a father
So you finish.
I will look at myself as a father in the way of Cummings, in the sense that he said, vote for whatever your conscience leads you to, or wherever your conscience leads you. Because, like we said it on the show previously, the Bassa people are not people who vote purely based on tribe. So although they will want to see one of their own, in the vice presidency or even in ascent to the presidency, the reality is we have to look at this based on what's on the ground, what's happening on the ground right now. And the momentum is behind Joseph Yoman Boakai. As a CDC sympathizer, I will tell you that clearly. So a lot of people like to be on the winning side. They don't like to quote unquote waste their vote on somebody who don't think is viable. So more than likely, the Bassa people in their bulk will vote for Joseph Yoman Boakai or President George Weah. I think we're not equating George Weah in this equation because The reality is he's half Bassa from his mother's side, and he's well beloved in Grand Bassa County as well. Just like my boy guys never won a majority of voting in Grand Bassa, neither has the Unity Party. So George Weah, as we talk right now, as we speak right now, will probably take the lion's share of the vote in Bassa. Maybe, Cummings may come second or Boyka may come second, but more than likely Weah will win Bassa because he's a son of Bassa, so to speak, if we're talking about voting for one of
Bassa
your
the last
sons.
time.
Brumskine did, but Brumskine is not there now. And he's not, Charlyne Brumskine is not her daddy. She's not going to take all of his
Okay.
votes,
All right.
So I will leave it there and I will pass the mic to somebody else,
Great.
Mr. Gilman.
Mr. Kamara,
Mm-hmm.
you as a father, you got two daughters in the race. One is on the ticket to be vice president. One is endorsing somebody else. As a father, if you were to be looking through your glasses there and cutting sand, which way would you go?
First of all, if I was the father, I would be asking Charlyne's mother about Charlyne's real father because I don't have no Congo child. Okay, that's one. Number two. Number two. When if Bassa people want a Bassa person to be vice president of Liberia, then Charlyne is not the one because she's not Bassa. That's number two. Let us establish that. But you see, one of the things I enjoy about the ANC people and the ANC sympathizers, they can be free to go on social media and talk about when Joseph Boakai is going to die. When Joseph Boakai is going to die. How a peacemaker is supposed to last for 8 years and 8 years has expired, so he's on his way. They can say all that. But the moment you call them Congo people, they lost their damn mind. They want to kill the whole country, which they are. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have a background from Sierra Leone. It doesn't negate the fact that I'm a Liberian. Just because one of your parents or both of your parents came from America doesn't change the fact that you're a Liberian. Accept it. What we are saying at this moment, the True Weak Party will not. If I let go beyond True Weak Party, the Republican Party of back in the days,
True Party, yeah.
All right, will not
No
see
True
the executive mansion. The last True Weak Party member to see the executive mansion was troubled. Nothing else again. I want you to know that.
Mr. Kamara, let me push by you talk about the real Bassa child and all that. Remember, President, Weah's mother was born and raised in Grand Bassa, spoke the language. You know that. So technically, we have a president already. So if you don't want to, if you think Charlyne is not Bassa enough, then Joseph Boakai stand no chance because Bassa has a son.
But here's the thing, though.
Bassa has a son already in the mansion.
But that's what you should be telling the Bassa people. Charlyne is irrelevant. Charlyne is talking about being vice president when you already got Bassa man in the mansion. So what's the point? What's the relevant of Charlyne? Ask the ANC people.
Mr. Gaiman, let me. I got one last statement.
Go ahead, real quick.
One small statement. It's going to be short, very short. The man who led the revolution, G. Bacchus Matthew, today, against the True Weak Party, that was what kind of man?
Congo man, Congo and Bassa, Congo and Bassa.
Okay?
Congo and Bassa.
I'm trying to nuke all your theories. No. Let me just land there. You can talk. I'm trying to destroy your whole theory. The man who led the revolution was a Congo Bassa man.
I said Bassa
against the True Weak Party. So we don't try to put the True Weak Party on people.
When you be talking about it, stab you.
Do not try. You're trying to push people as True Weak Party when it was a G. Bacchus Matthew who led against the True Weak Party.
So where is your the True Weak Party?
You see, Aliu, you are propagating. I want to know. You're propagating wrong.
The True Weak Party can boy the big. Are you
like the True Weak Party? Exactly. People didn't like the True Weak Party. They took advantage of us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't know how much people do dislike
that.
What you are trying to do is trying to spread hatred.
Mr. Kamara, did you ever work in Liberia?
What you say?
Did you ever work in Liberia?
Plenty of time.
Okay, so you know that you were a True Weak Party man, right?
No, God forbid.
But they took your taxes and you were working. Everybody that were in Liberia.
No. But when I started working, 2 weeks, there was nowhere around. I talked about that a long time.
Oh, okay. Well, then you got Mr. Padmore.
No, in Guinea.
No problem. At least I came back.
Mr. Padmore.
No, but seriously, I said, man, Aliyu, where were you in 1990?
Nothing that I'm in Liberia. Nothing that I was in Liberia. I never left Liberia. I never left Liberia until 2007. I never left Liberia until 2007. Never.
Mr. Kamara.
I'm telling you,
Mr. Kamara, they said,
yeah.
Somebody said you and Joseph Wagga got your time across a bull.
But what's wrong? But what's wrong with that? If that was true, what's wrong with that? In fact, I have a family in Sierra Leone that I'm still related, that I'm still connected with, in a place called Nyema, Daru.
Hey, you wanna gotta be a natural born Liberian to run for presidency.
But I'm a natural born Liberian. So what?
They say you and Joseph Wagga came from Kenema, somewhere called Kenema.
No, Joseph Wagga is from Wasaga. Let's talk about me. I have a background from Kenema.
No, you and Joseph Wagga,
can the Congo people accept their own? I'm accepting my reality.
But again, we move to the next topic, or we just only on one topic today?
The brown people listen. The brown people can boast of the Ivorianness. The Guinean people can boast of the Yakubaness from Ivory Coast. The Mana people can boast of their Guineanness. Why, when you say Congo may want to die? Why?
I will tell you why. Let me answer that question for you.
Go ahead, Mr.
I will answer that question for you because you are misrepresenting everybody in that Congo.
But did I say everybody was
America? Everybody didn't come from America. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Did I say everybody?
When you blanket everybody with an English name as Congo, then you misrepresent them.
Mr. Kamara, okay. You know that there's a distinction between the quote-unquote repatriated Africans who was on a slave ship that went back there and the American Liberians. You gotta distinguish them.
We'll talk about that ABC thing. I know what we're talking. You know what we're doing.
Yeah. They say it's coming as possible.
We know all those details, but I know what we have for today.
The next topic, actually, we are going to postpone it and transfer it to the next agenda. We will have Mr. Eastman and Mr. Kamara. We are going to go to the comment section. We're not going to take any call. But let's go to the comment section and read a few comments, and then we go from there, okay? We got another show coming up. We got 10 minutes left. So let's read a few comments, respond to them, and then we go from there. Let me go to this one here.
Edward Dennis, but you are a foreigner. Why are you participating in our conversation? Aliyu, I think that's for you.
I'll show you if I leave. I'll show you.
Nobody else getting heritage in Guinea and all those kind
of you grandfather came to Liberia and how his children was supposed to declare their citizenship at the age of 18.
What constitution are you reading? What constitution are you reading?
They were Sierra Leoneans.
What constitution are you reading?
Go bring the paper.
That's not Liberia constitution you reading, so
oh, you know that.
Your own constitution you reading.
Okay.
Good response. Fix electronics. Good response, Mr. Eastman. Next one. From Emmanuel Akepong. Aliyu Kamara. King Sao Bozo was a slave trader. He was a Medingo slave trader. He saw Cummings and Brumskine great grandparents.
And I think he made a good decision, by the way.
Oh man, man.
Oh no, Mr. Kamara, you can't say that. No. What the people went through in this country? What the people went through in the country? That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. You are to be mistreated.
That's one, yeah. I got that. What did I say?
Eastman, go ahead.
What is wrong with being a TWP? What is wrong with it, Aliyu? You said something about TWP. You don't really want to be against TWP. What is wrong?
TWP mishandle our people. They make, in fact, my mother lived with a sniff. Those fools, bare houses, no toilet in the houses. They bought bucket. They call Chimo. They put in the bucket. They allow my man to go dump that people to the stream. Those TWP people. They're bad people.
Oh Lord.
That the family with. How can you
Him and the family put out Bassa
somebody
people.
practice
Mr. Kamara,
to
you're going too far. You're going too far with that rhetoric.
I know what I'm talking.
Oh, the
Congo
country.
people.
You're
3
going
white
too
people.
far with that rhetoric, man.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Listen, guys.
Great.
Mr. Eastman, this is one of the most beautiful women on the Bassa. When we were growing up,
Gretchen Kennedy.
she was Grecian talker. She's not Grecian talker candidate. She got something for you, Mr. Read it. Let's see what
Gretchen Kennedy said by trucking people, ANC, UP, CDC all have votes in Bassa, but UP will carry the most votes because of Nyombli.
Thank you. You got smart people watching. You got some very brilliant people watching.
Mr. Patmore.
Yes, sir.
I think we got a strong UPP person here. You can tell she's a friend of Nyombli. Can you respond to her, please?
No, yes. First, I want people to understand. There's no the ANC or the CPP has not trucked anybody. Okay, when you bring people together to a central location for a celebration, that's not trucking. Trucking is when you move people during voting time. CPP has not done that. Only people that do that are UP. UP does that a lot, but that's okay. Okay, Gretchen, I hope you understand. We don't truck.
Okay, this is a heads up for us. Fixed Electronics On Point remains undefeated.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
River says Pro. Maybe the black people in America are still waiting for their first black president. Obama is not a typical black.
But I'm not copy here. River said, where am I walking from?
What he's trying to say is that maybe it's in my mind. You're going to keep reading your comment. I want to make a because we're talking about Charlyne not being Bassa. Charlyne not being Bassa, and thereby her being the vice president will not be she won't be a typical Bassa person. I think that's the parallel he's trying to draw.
Go ahead.
Who is this Kamara man?
Right.
Who is this Kamara man? Kamara. Yeah, people wonder about your divisiveness, I gather. That's why.
No, they didn't say that. Don't analyze what they say. They only want to know who I am.
Okay, come on with everything.
Okay, River says, bro, you joking. CPP will sweep Grand Bassa County.
Sweep.
This is a pro CPP.
I'm a game, bro.
Gretchen Kennedy. Well, 25 partisans in Nimba County just resigned from the ANC to join UP. As a former citizen, why you did not encourage him to bring the War Crimes Code? JMB will bring the War Crimes Code. Who believes JMB will bring
absolutely not. Absolutely not. You will not bring the War Crimes Code.
You see how
Mr. Ismail, read it. He said an article you again. Read it something there.
I said, let me read it again. Well,
different one.
Oh, different one. You want to hear that one?
No, you want to hear War Crimes Code because they coming for
no. Let me hear what everybody's saying. We don't know what the man will do or the man will not do.
Okay, Stan Waller is an ardent participant on the program. Well, all the men are running. No one says, what will we do? How will we choose? As soon as there's more than one woman in politics, they say, what will we do? I'm not sure where he's going.
I don't understand that one either.
Yeah, that woman man politics, I don't get involved with it. I just deal with human being, period. I don't get time for sex or gender.
Okay, Reverend Pro said the Bassa people will not support a lady who aligned herself with Prince Johnson. Bassa people are not a fan of PYJ.
Listen to that nonsensical talk. Align with Prince Johnson. When did Youngly align with Prince Johnson?
Politically, they're aligned with the UP.
With Prince Johnson.
They're advocating the same thing.
But we're talking about align with Prince Johnson. Then why align Charlyne with her father? Even though that her biological father with the same blood, then you say no.
Align me just means you're in agreement for a specific idea or ideology.
Not necessarily. That's in a figure of speech. The person who uses it, they can defend it. You get defended for that. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Okay, Emmanuel Akempong say Aliyu Kamara, that narrative is lethargic.
A man named
ABC,
Akipon. They ain't asking me where I'm from.
Oh God.
Can you imagine? Where Akipon come from? Not Ghana.
ABC 7% was the first excuse. He didn't know Liberian politics was the second excuse. Now he's a Congo man. What is the next excuse? Why do they fear clean hands?
The next excuse would be that he would not win election in Liberia as long as he has a double Congo team.
Yata Burnett. The guys who are preaching tribal and other divisive politics are people without vision for the nation. None of these divisiveness will put food on the table of the Liberian people or create jobs to improve their lives. I hope Mr. Kamara could sell the vision for the party that he's leaning or representing.
But that's not the intent tonight. If that was the intent, I would have sold the party.
Tippos Dempster. FOL shouldn't allow people like Puka robbers to come on their platform.
Thank you. He almost murdered somebody.
Listen, you guys, you see, when you take power, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna silence other people.
No, we're gonna put criminals in jail. We're not gonna have them running around from one network to another network.
So what about Prince Johnson? What about Prince Johnson, Mr. Kamara?
Hey man, Prince Johnson, you have to go to court.
Oh, okay.
You have to go to court. You want us to run a verdict against Prince Johnson without him even ever appearing in court? Is that what you want us to do? Ismail, go ahead and read that thing back.
Listen, man, you just said Poker Robert.
So should Prince Johnson be allowed on this platform after we started killing people?
Poker Robert should have been arrested. We did not.
Should Prince Johnson also be banned on this platform, Mr. Kamara? For killing people on camera?
Will not go to court. We have not said that. I am telling you that we will put criminals in jail. That's what I said. We will.
Should Prince Johnson be banned from Focus on Liberia?
Do we have power to put criminals in jail right now? So that is not a topic.
Should Prince Johnson be banned from Focus on Liberia? He committed crimes.
I understand, Morris. You're too young to understand the code when people speak.
I see your question. I just ask you a question, Mr. Kamara.
The code here is we will. Are we in power? We're not in power. We will. But wait for that time and see whether somebody named Justin or Johnson or Paulson can go to jail. You wait for that.
So you betray Prince Johnson. What are you saying? You're betraying.
I don't know why you're using betray. I can't respond to that other betray.
Somebody who's put in jail for their crimes. All right.
There you go. Mr. Ismail, go ahead, sir.
Stanley, we tired of rally. Got missing. $50,000 USD got missing.
70,000.
I think he talking about when we said we had different money.
There's an echo.
Somebody got something on. Everybody mute. I understand professionally, but the Liberian politics requires certain candidates to relate in such a way due to his or her moral obligation. That's Teddy Yankun. Samuel Hollywood, some of us waiting for the real campaign to kick off. Trust me, then they would know how water got into the coconut.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our show. We're going to have 1 minute each to close, and then hopefully by then we will find out how water got into coconut. Mr. Eastman, you said you had it, Mike. Great job. Do your closing work.
Yeah. The Cummings Brumskine ticket offers another opportunity for Liberians.
Mr. Eastman, while you are there, if you have any relatives or anybody, friend who had a child that graduated, this is a better time to say kudos to them. If you did, if not,
my child graduated, so say kudos to me.
Oh, thank
you. Congratulations for all those who are graduating. I'm a strong advocate of higher learning and education. It is through education we will be able to better provide for our families. So it's a step in the right direction. The Cummings Brumskine ticket offers Liberia another opportunity. People they offer where they are not, neither of them have been tarnished by the system. They are not obligated to anybody in the system. There's no way somebody can blackmail them or force them to submit to corruption and to other foul play, because both of them is talking about clean hands. I would not call it clean hands, but they are both free to conduct themselves with integrity and dignity. They are not obligated to anybody. Okay. Tomorrow, when election finally opens up, we will know whether the UP MDR coalition will hold up. There are many things we've seen before in the CDC coalition. Right now, Prince Johnson went on to church today to say that all the positions were not given. What guarantees do we have that when the UP coalition gets there, will they actually divide positions with everybody? There's a lot of questions that are coming up, and we will have to answer these questions before we vote. But do not buy a pig in a bag. Know who you're voting for and know what's going to come. That's one of the most important decisions we can make for this next generation.
Thank you. Mr. Morris, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Mr. Gaiman, and thank you to the fellow panelists. I think this idea of tribal politics, we need to eradicate it from our political discourse. But as it stands right now, that's the reality in our country. So when people bring it up, it's only a reflection of the society at large. But in terms of the ticket for Cummings and Brumskine, there are certain positives, but there's a lot of drawbacks. And I think, tribal balance in our country is significant for most people when they're looking at who to support. We who are in America, who have had some sense, some level of enlightenment by, looking at the American political system here, we know that, race, even in this country, race plays a factor in terms of how people vote. Most, racial minorities turn to support Democrats because they feel like that's what, that's the party that have their best interests at heart. So certain ethnic groups in Liberia tend to support a specific person or people from their region because they think that person will have their best interests at heart. So we have to acknowledge that. We can aspire to eradicate that mindset of tribal politics, but as it stands right now, that's the reality. I don't think Cummings ticket will move the needle a lot because of their lack of political experience. In my own calculation, somebody like Bassa Finley, who has friends in the Senate, has people in the government, serving this current government, is a very powerful and well-connected person politically in Liberia, I think would have been a better choice for a VP. But again, I think they wanted to go with a lady, and they have their lady. She's qualified, but politically, I don't think she have enough capital to really move the needle for Cummings. I'll leave it there. Thank you for having me on the show tonight, today, Mr. Gaiman.
Thank you. Since today is a big day for ANC, I'm going to leave the last for Mr. Padmore. Mr. Kamara, if you know anybody who has graduated, your grandchild, your son, give them kudos and then do your closing.
Yeah, I want to say a serious congratulations to my daughter. She's graduating. I don't even know what kind of degree my own daughter getting, but anyway, she'll be graduating in June. Well, congratulations to her, hardworking woman. Very hardworking. I wish my son were like her. For some reason, the boys, they can give her a hard time. You see how Evans giving me hard time on this show. But anyway, yeah, congratulations to my beloved girl. Look, Mr. Eastman made everything easy here. He said, don't vote for a pig in the bag. Pig in the bag means something you not know, don't buy it. You can't see it, you not know what it is, don't buy it. Do you know Cummings? No. Do you know Charlyne? No. Do not buy pig in the bag. You see, these people, these exact people here, their grandfather that used to put in the chimo and give it to our children, our indigenous children, to go and throw it away. I remember my mother told me a story where they would go and get the food, they would come and cook. They serve the Congo people children on the table and they have to eat in the back, in the rest part. Their soup is dumped on the cross and they have to eat it. These are the people who are gang up again and say they want their country back. I don't know why they want to carry it. Don't mislead yourself. Don't fool yourself into thinking that that history has been erased just because the perpetrators don't want to hear that history. What happened about 40 years ago, when it ended in about 43 years ago, when it ended with Torba, stay in some people's minds. Some of those people who went through those things are still alive. I know a 92-year-old man living in the compound that I used to live in Banabay when I went these few days, and he was telling me some story. He grew up with Coleman. He explained, he gave me the people who live these things are still alive. And to see a Cummings, a Brumskine coming back to take their land, we say in the follow. They're not taking it. When somebody asks a question, they don't know whether Joseph Boakai will operate a government that includes everyone. Well, just look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. It included the 15 subdivisions, almost every district. That's the kind of government that Joseph Boakai will bring. But today is not about Joseph Boakai. I have not come to preach Joseph Boakai. The day Gilman have a show and say, today we're talking about Joseph Boakai, we will discuss that. Right now, we are tearing apart the Cummings ticket. That ticket makes no sense. And if you're talking about gender and say because woman is on a ticket, let me tell you, there are a lot of women in the CDC. There are a lot of women in the Unity Party. There are women with Taiwan Gonglo. There are women everywhere. Just a few days ago, women endorsed Joseph Boakai through Mandela Kupo. So if that a woman car, he won't play because he said in Nimba country, he said his wife is the head of his family. That kind of president there, that is not Liberian to say the woman, his wife is the head of his family. That kind of thing make us concerned. These people are confusing us. And therefore, we're not going to elect them. We're not happy in the bed. And Mr. Esma was correct. He has warned you to not choose Cummings and Brumskine ticket. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You rare politician.
Mr. Palmo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there's a couple of things that Ali said here that I have to reiterate. The first one he said, you see Ellen Gorman. Ellen pick people from all 15 subdivisions. I know Ellen to be Bani woman. He don't want to tell where Ellen coming from.
Bombing.
You know?
She's Gola, not Bandi, but Gola.
Gola woman from she's Gola.
Oh, so she Gola. She Gola.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Ellen Johnson is Gola. But
Yes.
Charlyne Brumskine is not Bassa.
But we're not going by the name. You worry about the name. I'm not going by the name.
Hey, come on, get a minute chance to
No,
go.
you're trying to misrepresent.
Please,
I'm not going by the name.
Well, you do the same thing. Kamara, you do the same
I have
thing.
not called Elvis Morris the Solomon. They're not crown nigga.
But do you really know where Ellen Johnson from?
I know.
You do not know.
Yes, I
You
do.
do not know.
Come on,
Yes,
we
I
gotta
do.
go. You're eating
No,
into
you
our
don't
time.
know. You don't know.
Mr.
That's time to be very careful. Go
Thank you
ahead.
very much.
Mr.
Yeah.
Pablo.
Man. So here's the thing. Look, these people, when you're talking about, I know a 92-year-old man, we know that the candidate they're talking about, but they won't talk it. But
He's not like a 2-year-old. He's 78 years old.
That man will not give me 10
You will
minutes.
not misrepresent him.
But why you can't let other people talk, Kamara?
Go ahead.
Look, we saw what happened with these people. Unity Party has not changed. They're the same people. That's why they send people like this, the assassins like this, to come and destroy other people's character instead of talking on the issues. Tell me when Alexander Cummings was accused of stealing. Tell me when Alexander Cummings was somehow embroiled in corruption. Tell me when Charlyne Brumskine was accused. They don't want to talk the issues. They will dodge all of the issues. They think that will make Liberian people's life better. They don't want to talk about it because they have nothing to offer you. All that time, all they have to offer you is more of the same. They were there for 12 years. Remember 2017 when you went to the ballot box, how you felt about UP. It's the same people come by again. They're not far. They've been talking about 43 years. I'm talking about 6 years ago. Remember your life 6 years ago. Remember what they used to do to us. What they used to say to us. They're coming back again. They're stealing where they steal before. They're coming to finish. Okay, in our lifetime. We should not do that. Let us vote for people with integrity that will bring us a better Liberia. That everybody, whether your name Komo, your name Yakbawolo, it will not matter. Even if your name Kamara and you 4th-generation Liberian from across the river, it should not matter who you are. You should be able to get a good education, have access to health care, and be able to make life better for you and your children. That is the most important thing. Whether Joe Biden is in the presidency or Donald Trump, guess what? Me and my family will eat, because it does not matter who is president. It's whether my life is better. That's what should matter to you, not whether Charlyne will Congo me or not, but whether she is a strong, educated woman with integrity that will help Mr. Cummings to change your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This was a great day. On behalf of our program, we want to say thank you to Mr. Anthony Sear. His son graduated in Minnesota yesterday, and he's one of the top prospects, soccer prospects in the country. I heard he may have an opportunity to go to either Chelsea or one of the European camps to begin his academy life. We want to thank the father and the mom and everybody that supported that young man. I also want to send a shout out to my good friend, Ava Tukwa. His daughter graduated yesterday from Brown. My son attended that ceremony today, and we want to say kudos to him. I want to say kudos to myself. My son also graduated with a graduate degree in global health and received a position at Brown University General Hospital. So these young men and women are doing very well. And I also want to take off my hat to Mr. Kamara for his daughter graduating, even though he doesn't know what degree. I know she graduated from Fuller Bay College in Sierra Leone, but it's still a college. It's all right. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a graduate, in Africa, Mr. Padmo, Mr. Jimmy Eastman, Mr. Kamara, Mr. Morris, he's young, he doesn't understand it. But in Liberia, in Africa, we say it takes a village to raise a child. Nobody can take exclusive right to say, I did it. Somebody down the line gave you a hand, either dropping your child off to school while you were in a tight spot, picking your child up, all of these things. So we want to clap for ourselves and all those who made it possible. If you have a child, a nephew, or niece, or anybody you know that is graduating, we are all about education. Send their name to us. Send their story to us. We will take a special time to read it, because guess what? With education, our country can move. I have a chapter in my life that I'm writing, and that came from the UN Honor Secretary when I was in Liberia at the German embassy when they were running the country. And he said, Jerome, by 2030, all those that have held this country back will begin to exit. They will be dying off. So he said, 2030 is what you should look at. He says, I am not looking at you, Mr. Gaiman, the Padmos and the Eastman to come and change this country, but Padmos' children, Kamara's children, Jerome Gaiman's children, these children are untainted. They will be growing up in a different culture, different society when they come home. 2030 to 2050 will be the 1822 that we have envisioned. This is Jack Klein talking to me privately. So when I see the Padmos, the Gaymans, the Eastman, their children are graduating, it dawned upon me that maybe these people have done their homework. That when all these children meet in Liberia, there will be no tribes, there will be no county, there will be no those kinds of settlement. It's going to be strictly professional folks. What you know, what you can do. So ladies and gentlemen, let's push education. Let's push our children. This is the future of Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday, we're going to have the same crew here. We're going to be asking more ANC folks to come on. I'm not saying anything today because we are going to leave the day for the ANC folks to put up a show. And this is their time. Let them gloat, let them grow, let them enjoy it, and then we can go little and criticize. But for now, it is their show. They did a great job yesterday in Bassa, and kudos to them. Until then, we say we are all Liberian, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming. Let me go here and see if we can play one of our songs that we love. Liberian, you guys are doing real well here, and I think we should give it to you. As like
We all are